Hey there, everybody. Kevin Lowry here, founder at Lead Forward. Thanks for tuning in and watching this demo of the Lead Forward platform. Today, we're going to dive into Lead Forward and do more of an extended demo. I'm going to try to satisfy two parallel tracks within this demo, and that's to show off the core value proposition of pipeline growth and sales automation, but at the same time, I'm going to try to do a little bit of a deeper dive under the hood for some of the mechanics of how the platform actually works and some of what our more advanced use cases can achieve within the platform. So to start, our mission at Lead Forward is ultimately to help you generate more revenue in less time with less busy work. And we try to achieve that by combining B2B data with sales engagement automation on top of artificial intelligence and machine learning, all assembled into one purpose-built platform. So sequences are the core feature of Lead Forward, and a sequence is essentially an automated playbook that takes a prospect through a journey of steps and touch points. In a typical outbound sequence that's built around generating interest, the goal is to typically generate a reply that sparks a conversation with a prospect. When a reply is received to a sequence, the automated playbook actions for that particular prospect within that sequence automatically stop and allow a human to take over the conversation and the dialogue. Sequence action steps consist of automatic emails, manual tasks that get added to a sales rep's daily task list, like calls, automatic voicemail drops, LinkedIn activities and tasks, or workflow actions like sending reminders to yourself or other team members. If you're using one of our CRM integrations, we can assign and route leads once a contact reaches a certain step within your sequence, maybe the end of the step, maybe the middle, maybe after a specific action. Or you can actually move a contact to an entirely different sequence if something changes in their profile and there's more relevant content that you want them to be receiving. You can also push any important data from a sequence related to a contact to an external platform using our webhooks or using a platform like Zapier or any of our native integrations like Sugar CRM or Salesforce. Sequences are executed over a period of time with any number of steps and touch points. You're not limited in the length or the duration of a sequence. The sequence schedule governs which days of the week and times your sequence will trigger steps for your enrolled contacts, and then time delays between each sequence step help control and govern frequency. So how often people within your sequence are touched with an action will depend on how much they get delayed in between each touch point. And you can specify, how much of a delay appears between each step as well. And then on top of that, you have the overall sequence schedule, which will limit sequence actions to only taking place on specific days. So if you only want to work on Monday through Friday and you don't want to engage anyone on Saturday and Sunday, that's possible. Or you can shorten that up and only do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You can do multiple time frames within specific days or the week. There's a lot of customization that's available for scheduling. To help measure and optimize sequences, we provide a great deal of built-in reporting, so you get a very granular view of how your sequence is performing as a whole. And then you can also compare that against how other sequences are performing as well, including how different emails that are attached to different sequences are performing. This is helpful because at any given time, if you have one sequence or certain content that's performing better in different sequences, you can always clone a sequence and then clone in and bring in different steps from other sequences like emails that you have saved as templates to compile a sequence or a playbook that's built around your best performing assets. So the reporting really helps guide you on that. Cold outreach is obviously an important part of any outbound sales program, and Lead Forward includes multiple features that are really purpose built to support cold email programs, or what we refer to as next gen cold email software. Our methodology for properly executing cold emails is carefully documented in our cold email launch guide, and also in cold email, do this, not that. After this video, or pause the video now, and if you're really focused on the cold outreach side of things, I'd encourage you to review those articles. There's a lot of very good information in there, and it's really a great blueprint, even if you have no prior experience with executing cold outreach. There's a lot of great information in there to get you going with a full blueprint step by step. So the process with our next gen cold email functionality begins with connecting cold email mailboxes. All emails sent through lead forward sequences is obviously done through actual mailboxes. Our goal, no matter if it's cold or if you're handling inbound or if this is more of a sales engagement configuration for your inside sales team or your BDRs, your SDRs, the goal, no matter what you're doing, is to appear to be human at all times, even though you're still enjoying the benefits of automation. So when you appear human and relevant to a recipient, you generate more interest and replies. No one really likes responding to marketing emails or emails that are not personalized for them, or doesn't look like it's coming from an actual human being. All of this also rolls into primary inbox placement, which is where we want to get you instead of the spam or junk or bulk folder. We have native support for Office 365, Google Workspace, or any SMTP and IMAP email provider, which can include email services like Rackspace, Zoho, Ionos, and many more. As long as there's SMTP and IMAP support, you're good to go. And then for Office 365 and Google Workspace, you can either go SMTP and IMAP with either of those providers, or we have OAuth connectors available for both those platforms. Advanced configurations for connected mailboxes are designed and part of the platform to optimize cold outreach. And these include features such as human-like sending pattern delays, a ramp-up mode to automatically warm up your mailboxes over time to help, again, with deliverability and optimizing deliverability, and also the ability to automatically split and distribute email over a single sequence using multiple mailboxes automatically. Our platform also makes it easy to stay personal, which again, if our primary goal is primary inbox placement, and to achieve this both from a technical perspective and then also from a sales perspective, we want to look human. Personalization becomes a very important part. And the personalization that we're looking for is not necessarily just personalizing content with someone's name or their company name. Sending the same email message templated in that fashion to multiple recipients is a great way to get your message flagged as being automated and not being sent from a human being, which will end up leading to more scrutiny of your message and probably being destined for the junk folder. A feature that we have to help randomize and even when you're using templates to avoid the appearance of using templates is a feature called Spintax that allows you to basically send randomized and unique emails to every single one of your recipients at scale. So what happens with Spintax is you can use it in the email body or the subject line, and the spin tag will contain multiple variations. It can be of a single word or a sentence or a paragraph. And one of these variations will be randomly selected for each recipient. So the more spin tags you have within your email, the more randomization that you'll end up with. Icebreakers are another way to add even more personalization to your emails. And they're generally best utilized on the first email touch points. And they're accessible from our Chrome extension sidebar. We'll get into that a little bit later in this video. But for now, the process begins by placing the icebreaker personalization token within the email body. And this token will ultimately be replaced by copy that you add into our Chrome extension when you're enrolling a contact into a sequence using Sidebar. And again, we'll be looking at that shortly. Icebreakers are a great way to hyper personalize for a specific person while still having the benefit of a underlying template and underlying automated playbook. So personalized for one recipient, but the ability to scale that out easily for every single recipient within your particular sequence or that you're enrolling into your sequence. Within any automated email step, you can also personalize a message by leveraging personalization tokens that originate from data field properties in your contact database and lead forward. If you have any experience using an email marketing platform, this is pretty much like using merge tags to go from database to email body. And these data fields that are ultimately available within your contact database can be filled in from using spreadsheets that you import. You can manually edit them. You can link these fields from your CRM, or they can be enriched using any of the lead forward prospect tools as well. Our sequences are multi-channel, and in addition to sending automated emails, sequences also support a variety of other actions, including SMS, voicemail drops, LinkedIn actions, manual tasks, such as outbound calls, all that can be customized. Text messaging is powered by our Twilio integration. It's similar to our email outreach in that it supports personalization tokens from data field properties in your database. We also detect text message replies to your connected Twilio phone numbers. And then we can also use that reply detection to end a sequence for a recipient or also engage with follow-up actions based on a reply that comes in from a text message. Voicemail drops enable you to reach contacts at scale in their voicemail box without ever having to pick up the phone and dial, allowing your lead to listen and respond to your message on their schedule. Pre-recorded voice messages can be uploaded to the lead forward asset manager and then distributed using sequences. They can also be distributed using our automation workflow, which we'll cover a little bit later as well. We'll display your direct line in a lead's voicemail box, and that makes returning your call or returning a text very simple. Manual tasks can be scheduled to fulfill basically any sales related task. As I've mentioned before, such as outbound calling, setting up an in-person meeting, sending someone a t-shirt, whatever the case may be. That's a fully customizable parameter to create task types. Tasks are managed and executed using our Chrome extension Sidebar. And in addition to creating those custom task types, account owners can also personalize objections and outcome options that sales reps or anyone in your team can select from when they're actually executing a task and completing their daily to-do list. So most sales reps are really going to love the ability to view and execute their daily tasks from sequences using Sidebar. So TaskFlow will take you through each task one by one, giving you access to your prospect's full activity history and profile data. Tasks are completely customizable, as we've mentioned before, so you can have different categories or types of tasks, in addition to our default types, which would include LinkedIn actions. When a task is complete, the task flow manager allows a user to choose a objection if necessary, an overall outcome for their task, log notes, and then optionally set the next set of outreach for a particular prospect by enrolling them into a sequence if it's necessary. Our LinkedIn prospecting tool, which is also built in the Sidebar, allows you to easily convert a LinkedIn search into a prospect list with verified email addresses. So it basically allows you to create hyper-targeted searches, whether that's through LinkedIn's basic search tool or using Sales Navigator, and exports those particular prospects and contacts into Lead Forward, all from LinkedIn using Sidebar. It works, again, both with LinkedIn and basic search and also Sales Navigator. Sidebar connects your LinkedIn results with our native prospect B2B data platform to find and verify email contact information. It allows you to seamlessly export one or many prospects from LinkedIn to your CRM or directly to Lead Forward, and then also add those prospects to a sequence all at the same time. It's really the ideal sales sidekick for anyone that's responsible for building pipeline. Sidebar supports prospecting for multiple views within LinkedIn. That includes your standard search results directly from profiles, company people views, events, and groups. And as you browse through different views in LinkedIn, Sidebar basically collects those contacts that you can choose to export. So you'll notice a list developing and forming within the extension view. Results can be selected one by one or in bulk to be processed, enriched, and then ultimately exported to a Lead Forward list or to your CRM. All contacts are processed through our email verification platform as well. That's part of the prospect offering. And contacts that we can't verify or that have risky email addresses are free and don't utilize any prospect credits. And what we view as a risky email would be from a domain that's configured to accept all email, or an email address that is accept all or catch all that we haven't observed in recently accepting the delivery of an email. Lead Forward also includes a robust automation workflow engine, basically a if this, then that style conditional logic and follow-up action flow. Workflows can leverage any native data object within Lead Forward, and it can also rely on third-party data that's synchronized with our platform as well. The process begins by setting your conditional logic, or to say it in a different way, to define the type of contact that you want to target or qualify with your workflow. You can define a target's profile using their sequence activity, their engagement status, any data property value that exists in Lead Forward or is synchronized from your CRM, a tag that might be assigned to a contact record, their lead score, their history on your website, such as visiting a specific page or visiting your website for a specific duration. And you can combine these with all these singular conditions into multiple condition blocks as well, requiring that one or any of the condition properties match. Following the condition qualification, then you can define a pause or a wait that would determine the amount of time that would pass before a qualified contact that's enrolled in the automation would then move on to the action step that would be triggered after they qualify for the condition. So again, if it's if this, then that would be the process of moving from we found a match to now we want to trigger this action or this follow-up. So once you define that condition and once you qualify your contact for the workflow, then the next step would be to build and define what action should be taken. And it can be one action or it can be multiple actions, and it can be multiple actions over any specific period of time. And these can be business logic style actions, such as updating a data property field, pushing a qualified contact to your CRM because they've achieved a certain lead score, because they've replied to a sequence, or sending a contact using our webhooks or Zapier out to an external platform and syncing it with a different platform. You can assign tags to contacts, verify their email address, any of these actions that can be outreach based as well, or support similar to a sequence, such as sending a one-off email, an SMS message, triggering a voicemail drop, or enrolling a contact into a specific sequence. So there's also a number of automation recipes available in our knowledge base, including executing workflows on specific dates like renewals or birthdays, or sending reminders on specific dates. Automation workflows can also be set up to be recurring, which means that even though a contact may qualify for your automation workflow one time, if that same condition then qualifies again, because they reply to a different email or because it's now been a year and the renewal date is true again, then they can be re-enrolled and processed through the automation one more time. And you can set a ceiling on how many times a singular contact can enroll and process through the workflow as well. So from a contact management standpoint, LeadForward is built on a data foundation that's pretty similar to that of a CRM. Our primary data object is the contact list database. And within that contact object, you have custom data properties for each of your individual contact records. Custom data fields can range from text values to numeric values to date fields. And you can scale your contact object with any number of custom data properties at any time. Each contact within your contact database will maintain their own unique values within those data field properties. And these fields can be used to segment contacts, target contacts, and as we mentioned earlier, to personalize outreach using personalization tokens for emails, text messages, and even our direct mail integration. And along with each contact in your database, you'll have a bird's eye view of their entire journey within our timeline profile view. And the timeline profile view includes a full 360-degree view of every interaction, touch point, data change that is recorded as an event in chronological order within LeadForward. And that includes email interactions, website visits, CRM events, call outcomes, sequence responses, sequence enrollments, sequence ending, basically everything that we can track within LeadForward becomes an event within the timeline. You can also filter the timeline as well to really zero in on specific events. Last but not least is our unified inbox feature. The unified inbox is a shared bird's eye view of every reply that's received from any sequence and any connected mailbox to LeadForward. The unified inbox is a shared environment, and it grants your whole team access to monitor one mailbox or many mailboxes for sequence replies, and also gives them the ability to reply directly to those responses using any connected mailbox. All this is based on each user's individual permissions as well. It really helps with scale and productivity because if you have dozens of mailboxes connected for outreach, you can access replies for all of those mailboxes in one view instead of logging into dozens of email accounts. The unified inbox also makes it easy to categorize your replies and organize them based on interest and intent. You can also tag messages, and by tagging a message, those tags can also be leveraged by our automated workflow engine to trigger subsequent follow-up automatically. And you can filter replies by multiple parameters, such as the specific mailbox, the time the reply was received, the type of sequence that the reply was sent to, and even the owner of the sequence. Well, time flies. I want to thank you for taking the time to get to know LeadForward a bit better. I hope this demo was useful and has answered a lot of your questions. If you have more questions or any follow-up, our team is available 24/7 from our help desk, help@leadforward.com. If you're ready to take the dive and start test driving LeadForward, just click Get Started on any page on our site, and you can get going with our starter plan. We're looking forward to helping you grow. Thank you again.